Hi guys, so just a quick walkthrough of installing and running my WEB701 Milestone 2 React client prototype. Just be aware, of course, that you need to have the Express server prototype on your local machine and running so that we can implement one of the REST APIs with a request from the client prototype. So super easy to install. You're in the README of my GitHub repository. You can see we've got a lot of files here. You want to clone or download or even potentially fork a copy, get it on your local device. Then you're going to open it with something like VS Code, a code editor that has a inline in editor terminal or command line. Okay, and then you're going to run npm start. So I already, of course, have a local copy. We'll just open up our VS Code. Once you've got one on your local machine, just open the folder. I'm going to open my React one here. Happy days. Here I am in my React project on my home page. So in my terminal, I'm just going to run npm start to start my development server here. And you can see as well, of course, that I have my Express server here running as well, just making those REST APIs available. Just minimize out of that fellow. Okay, so it's taking a moment, it always does. You can see we're just starting up the development server, which is going to open us up here in the window. Of course, good things always take time, but should open up in just a second. Okay, so here we are. You can see we've got our React Got Apples project. Okay, so we've got a bit of basic CSS styling, HTML elements, and we've got active routes and navigation implemented as well. So this nav bar here works. Just show you if I jump into login, here I am on the login page. If I want to register, here we go. I've been taken to the register page. So if I want to go back, I can use those breadcrumbs there, of course, or I can just literally, whoops, of course, there's the odd empty page. This is just a prototype after all, but yeah, so you can see we've got navigation, we've got basic CSI that is semi-responsive. I'll just show you. Oops, that's my Express server. So that's my Express server. Okay, so we're using the row and col out of React Strat, the UI library. That's basically giving us a bit of control over how these elements resize, what sort of offset they have, and how that may change dynamically based on the screen size. Of course, this is pretty basic. It is just a prototype after all. And navigation links, of course. Now, but of course, the really fun stuff we're doing is dynamic image slider on our home page, which of course is in our React prototype is a little exported carousel class here. So of course, which is our little carousel here, which just starts dynamically and automatically, but we can just scroll through it manually as well if we like. There's a few controls, very fun. So that's the dynamic web content. Now, if we want to do something a little bit more interesting, we can use the API to pull this user information out of our database in the back here. So essentially, you can see we've got all our users. Now, some of our users have a value here set to true, that they are a Got Apples member. This means that they're a grower, and we're going to pull them in onto our grower page. So how are we going to do that? So on our grower.js here, you can see, okay, where are we pulling you in? Aha. So here essentially is the method that's actually going to pull in this information. We're doing a fetch to the URL coming from my API Express server in the background there. We're going to take a response from that get all users request, and we're going to pop it into this data object here. Then we're going to use that data object in our view here. We're going to go through this .state.users.map. Essentially, think of this as a loop. It's going to loop through my array of objects, and it's going to return individual objects. So it's going to loop through users and give me back user, many user. So And then we're going to just render that up with some basic information, first name, last name, etc. So what does that look like? So here we are. If we go to our grower page, that function will just fire automatically when this page is rendered. And here you go. We're pulling in our user information. Now, how do I know? I can inspect the element using the console here. And I can see that I've pulled in this array of data. Okay, and you can see it's all our people. Now, how do we know this is live and real? So if I go into my database and I say change Haley here, who is just a user, change her to one of our members, and apply that change, apply, finish in my MySQL database. And then when I go back, so we've got Fitz, Cal, Mike, and Walt. I refresh, and here we have Haley, who's now being pulled in as she is now one of our users. So yeah, you can see dynamic use of data there. So no, very cool. Now the next step, of course, is to just go through and I will do videos for the other two client prototypes. So that's next on the agenda. So enjoy.